And today, manze, I just want to share a small story that I think is full. It's packed with a lot of lessons that we can learn from. And this is a story of Jesus and a Samaritan woman. I know there is the obvious story about Jesus beating this woman, but today I just want to pick a little bit some lessons that we can learn. Now, first of all, I want to start by saying that we need to realize, first of all, as this story is beginning, that Jesus is a Jew. Na kama kuna watu ambao hawakuwa naweza kuingiana nao at all, the Samaritans. These people hawakuwa naingiana at all. So Jesus is busy doing his ministry, and he passes through a place called Sychar. Is it Sychar? Yes, Sychar. Can you see Sychar? Sychar, S-Y-C-H-A-R, like that. So he decides to walk through that place, that a ministry, a job. So he comes to this well. So he's seated there, and this woman comes. Now this woman knows that they are not supposed to interact at all with a Jew, because the Jews, they saw themselves. I think they saw themselves higher, in a higher level than the Samaritans. So kuna venye walikuwa na watreat. So basically, Jesus saw the woman coming in, but he doesn't react. Kawaida venye they would react, he doesn't do that. So the woman comes to draw water. So, but what is interesting to this lady is that Jesus talks to her. In fact, they were not supposed even to share a conversation, especially that this was a Jewish man. So now, they start a conversation. Jesus starts a conversation with this lady. He asks for water. The simplest thing you could ask, kwa well, kuuliza tu maji. So he asks for water. So this lady is actually curious. Why are you asking? First of all, you're a Jew. I'm a Samaritan. We are not supposed even to have this conversation. But what is interesting is that when you read John chapter 4, it's actually John chapter 4. When you read John chapter 4 from verse 7, and I want us to read from NIV. Inasema hivi, when a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, "Will you give me a drink?" Now this is Jesus starting a conversation, like just any other, the way you would start a conversation with any other person. But the Samaritan woman said to him, "You are a Jew and I'm a Samaritan woman. How can you ask for a drink? For Jews do not, definitely because Jews do not associate with the Samaritans." So Jesus answered, "If you knew the gift of God, if you knew the gift of God and who it is that asked you for a drink, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water." Verse 11 anasema, so this is now the woman replying, anasema, "Sir, women said," the woman said, "You have nothing to draw with and the well is deep. Where can you get the living water? Are you greater than the father Jacob, our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself and did Verse 11, "Sir," this is now the woman replying to what Jesus had asked. "You have nothing to draw water from this deep well. Where can you get the living water? Where can I get the living water?" This is the woman asking. So verse 12 inasema, "Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did also his sons and his livestock?" Here's a question. Now Jesus answered, and this is where it gets interesting. "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the water I gave them, they will never thirst. Indeed, the water I gave them will become the spring of water welling up to eternal life." Now this is a conversation. Now nataka iko kwa Bible setup. Now I want us to bring it now to the ordinary conversation that Jesus had with this woman. First of all, tunaona kuna differences in culture. One, we are seeing also a difference of religion. These were two different religions. So there was kulikuwa na challenges hapa na pale. The woman was finding it difficult when this man, who is a Jew, trying to have a conversation with her. But Jesus knew exactly who this lady was, because if you continue reading the story, he actually shares and opens up the kind of lifestyle this woman was living. Now, today I want us to talk about how Jesus was able to interact with people from other different cultures and other different religions. The reason why I'm speaking for all of this is because as a Christian, being a Christian, I've known, and being here as a Christian, I've known that tumekuwa na difficulties, especially relating with other people from other religion. We usually find it hard to relate with them because of how we have been natured, how we've been cultured, how we have been taught, and the difference that we have makes us not interact with people from other religion. But today we are learning that Jesus himself, he did not just come for the Jews, he also came from he came also for us, the ones we are called the Gentiles. So he crossed the culture, he crossed religion. So what as Christians, ni nini tunaweza learn from Jesus from his story yote? Tunaweza learn kitu ya kwanza that hatufai kuwa tunaweka barriers zenye zinatufanya hatuwezi interact with other people from other religion. In fact, if we believe we carry the light of the world, then we should be able to go into those places and share the love and the light of God that is in us. One thing that makes me very quite curious is just imagine the kind of conversation that Jesus was having with this woman. First of all, with the questioning of the Jewish woman, we can understand that she was a little bit on the defensive point because she couldn't understand. This is a Jewish woman. Unajua hiyo time culture zao between men and women ilikuwa si kama saizi tunaenjoy that freedom that we are sharing right now, but that time ilikuwa so serious. Men and women hawakuwa na integrate tu kila wakati. So this is not making it matter that this was a Jewish man who is actually speaking to a Samaritan woman. But basically I've learned this, that when Jesus decided to come out and decide to reach out to this who seemed to be different, alitake a step na kuanza conversation yenye ilikuwa hard. So ukisoma hapa chini, ukisoma verse 19, hii ni story after Jesus ameshafungua story ya this lady, ashafungua the secrets that this woman was, the kind of lifestyle that this woman was living. Ashafungua, asha reveal. So this woman knows that this is not an ordinary man. In fact, anamulizanga, I think anafikirianga he's a prophet. So the first thing I notice is this, that still this woman is on the defensive level. Why? Because anauliza niaje tuna have conversation na sisi tuko different. You people worship at a certain place, sisi tuna worshiping at a certain place. Where do I get this? If you read verse 19, this is what this woman said. Sir, the woman said, I can see that you're a prophet. Again, our ancestors worshipped in this mountain, on these mountains, but you Jews claim that the place where we must worship is in Jerusalem. So even their way of worship was quite different. Again, this is a different religion. Woman, this is Jesus replying, believe me, a time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. So what is Jesus trying to say here? Jesus is talking about true worship. You know, sometimes you might be divided by how we worship, where do we face when we are worshiping, how we hold our hands when praying, how is our lifestyle as believers. We may differ from all these things. But now Jesus points us back to something that is very sensitive. And he says, this is what he says. In verse 24, anasema hivi, no, verse 23, yet a time is coming and he has now come that the true worshippers will worship the Father in the Spirit and in truth. For they are the kind of worshippers that the Father seeks. Verse 24, then this is the final verse. God is spirit, and his worshippers must worship in spirit and in truth. The kind of revelation that Jesus shows us here is that at the end of the day, we are not supposed to be divided by how we worship. If you truly believe that you carry the light of the world, if you truly believe that you carry the spirit of the world, then inafaa kwanza sisi to break the barriers of reaching out to people from other religions. And the best way we can do that is just sharing the love of God. I know most of the people when they hear about evangelism wanafikirianga ile point ya juu na mtu msio namwambia niaje mimi naitwa fulani nimeokoka na nataka kuuliza je umeokoka, je unajua Yesu kama mwokozi wa maisha yako. I know that is what you think, but what I know about evangelism is not only in words but even in lifestyle. So however you live, how you live will attract people to know, to try and understand who is this God that you're worshiping. So Jesus elaborated that by just having a conversation with this lady. They were not, in cultural terms, they were not supposed to have a conversation. In terms of religion, they were not supposed even to share a cup of water. So Jesus is breaking that barrier. So what do we learn from this? That we need to break our barriers. The barriers that are placed by our culture that has nurtured us. The barriers of religion. We need to break those barriers and reach out and go out there and live a lifestyle that truly represents the God that we worship. And one way is just allowing Christ to live in your life and actually expose him. How? But not only in words, but in action. So today nataka kuiachia hapo, but I want as you have watched this, it is my prayer that nimeguza kitu ambayo inakufanya unafeel Christianity is not about kukua kwa fulani kwa watu wana believing in a certain laws and teachings. Hapana, Christianity is a lifestyle, how you live your life. So live a life in a way that it will attract people to the God that you serve. And the one main thing is this: live a lifestyle that actually actualizes the true worship that God requires. God says that He is a spirit, and those who worship Him must worship Him in truth and in spirit. So I want to say thank you for tuning in, and if this is your first time that you're watching my videos, please make sure you subscribe, like and share. Na kama una feel kuna topic yenye unaweza taka tuongee about, because He places the safe space. We discuss about anything and everything that concerns our life. So share pale kwa comment any topic that you want me to actually talk about it. This is a place that we can actually talk about it. So please andika hapo kwa comment, and I hope to see you on the next one. Peace out.